Do you ever wonder how something as perfect as the peanut butter and jelly was discovered? How many failed attempts were there before this epic combination was realized? Which got me thinking, could there be a duo in Dofus so good it's as perfect as peanut butter and jelly? I was determined to find out. So I tried to make up a list of the things I thought the perfect duo would need. First, they would need to have strong survivability. By that I mean they need to be able to take a lot of damage, and ideally they should be able to restore some of that lost health. And being able to summon backup and distractive type targets would also be a nice plus. Synergy. Both classes should have unique abilities that they bring to the table, but better yet, they should have things that enhance one another. Attacks, buffs, debuffs, able to do considerably more just because of the other class that is in on the fight. Both brains and bronze. Dofus is a tactical game, and so are many of the dungeons, especially late game dungeons. Our team will need to be able to work together to deliver great damage and to overcome dungeon mechanics. And the last and most important part of a duo team is they need to be fun. Fun is relative, of course. Some people find it fun to have very complex gameplay mechanics, while others find it fun to keep things simple and not overcomplicate. So we're looking for a pair with strong survivability, great synergy, brains and bronze, and a relative fun factor. Now, fun is something that obviously I can't determine, so instead I'm going to give my opinion on how complex I think the duo will be to play together. Warning, the following suggestions are just suggestions, are not stated as fact, nor deemed 100% correct. Benjamight's opinions may differ from your own, and that's okay. Hakuna Matata. If you want a team that can take a beating and keep on ticking, the Panda and Feka combo is for you. Both classes have very strong damage reduction abilities. The synergy between the Feka's glyphs and Panda's ability to easily throw enemies onto those glyphs is a powerful damage dealing combination. Both also play very well in all four elements, giving them fantastic versatility for late game if you want to have multiple build options. One weakness I will point out about this combination is neither class have fantastic healing abilities, so you're going to want to be mindful of keeping those damage reductions rolling. Now, you can possibly offset some of this later by getting some healing weapons. Now, if you take that Panda and Feka combination, you turn down the defense and raise the offense, you have the Panda Rogue. Somewhat similar to the Feka, the combination of bomb walls and Panda throwing is powerful. But one big difference between this pair and Panda Feka is the fact that both classes have great positioning capabilities, making it much easier to get the enemies on the bomb walls and controlling the flow of the map. Not to mention that the Rogue bombs, when charged and buffed, has some of the highest damage output in the game, which makes it ideal for end-game content. Now again, the weakness here is probably going to be the lack of healing capabilities, and now that you've lost the Feka's extra defensive abilities, you're probably going to want to be a little more cautious about taking damage. Having a tank build set for your Panda can really help offset this and maybe even completely get rid of this issue. If massive damage potential is what you're looking for, then the IOP and Elio is top tier. The combination of damage buffs through the Elio portals and the damage output of IOP spells is undeniable. Elio also grants the IOP the ability to use high damage, close range spells from clear across the map. With IOP jump and Elio portals, maneuvering around the map is going to be a breeze. Also, experts with the Elio portals have some of the highest success rates at soloing end-game dungeons, so really make an effort to get to know those portals. It'll pay off. A couple weaknesses I would point out about this duo though, IOP has literally no healing spells. They have slight tanking abilities, especially if you go with a chance build, but the IOP will rely heavily on the Elio if their health starts to get low. This duo is also really weak with summons that can be used for distracting or blocking line of sight, so I recommend try to get your hands on the Cowet spell because it will become very handy. If you like the idea of buffing, debuffing, and raining down outstanding damage comfortably from your side of the map, possibly while sipping on a cup of tea, this duo is for you. Both classes are very ranged based, and they both have the ability to remove MP and range from the enemies, practically demobilizing them. The Inu also has access to several unique summons that can be used for attacking, pushing, or blocking line of sight, or you can attack those yourself for 100% damage to heal ratio. This really is one of the most simple ways to have a blast with a duo team. Now, some weaknesses. I know I just said that them being simple is a perk, but some might find that boring because the main goal is to stay as far away as possible and keep attacking. The Craw also is fantastic when damaging from a distance, but depending on your build, they may suffer when the enemies do get close. One good news is though, the Craw does have several pushing and moving spells, so hopefully regaining that distance advantage won't take you very long. Now, between the Craw's HP stealing abilities, the Inu's healing abilities, and the summons that can be traded for health, most of the time I don't think you're going to have an HP problem here, but you will need to be mindful of the cooldowns or you might end up in a situation that's really hard to come back from. Now, if you found the thought of that Craw Inu duo repulsive, possibly even cowardly, you're the kind of person that wants to be in the face of the enemy, swinging frantically, dealing massive damage, and if you die, it should be a thing of glory, then this duo is for you. With the Sacrier and Masquerader duo, mobility and positioning is a thing of beauty. You'll have no trouble dragging, pushing, and jumping around your enemies. The ability to share damage and shield each other makes this a fantastic tank duo. These two classes have an incredible knack for being almost dead, and yet you still can't finish them off. But hey, that's part of the fun, right? Some weaknesses to point out. No other two classes in Dofus want to die as bad as these two. So it's easy to get caught up in the rush of dashing in to grab a bunch of enemies and deal a bunch of damage, only just a little too late to realize you bit off more than you can chew and you're probably gonna die. Most of the Sax abilities, and actually quite a few of the Mask's abilities as well, are designed for close and low mid-range combat. I'd recommend you do your best to try to separate those enemies and focus your effort to avoid being overwhelmed and killed real quickly. Now these two classes also do really well at buffing themselves. However, they will struggle with debuffs and removing buffs from enemies, which again, if you combine that with the fact that you got to be close to the fight, it can make for a very dangerous combination. But again, also a lot of fun. Just a few quick honorable mentions. The Eye Up and Any, a super easy to play duo, although might run the risk of being boring in some people's eyes. They have fantastic survivability and damage output. Might struggle a bit against mobs with big self-buffing abilities though. The Xelor and Elio, this is top tier complexity, especially if you try to combine telefragging and portals, but the rewards could be timeless. This duo won't be for most people, but if it's for you, you know who you are. Sadida and Osa. This duo has the same strengths as the Inu and Craw team, but with the added benefit of both characters being good at close combat. This duo is perfect for the kind of person that likes to sit back and let their summons do all the dirty work, and don't mind a really cluttered battlefield. Now, if you're really not sure still what character you want to pair with your favorite class, I ran a survey recently on my channel and found out 1 out of every 4 preferred teammate is a panda. So if you've never tried that, try throwing a panda in your group, you'll probably like the results. Now, if you're still on the fence about which 2 characters you might want to try for a duo, make sure you check out this video over here where I give my personal opinion of my favorite PvM classes and I tell you a little bit why. Hopefully I helped you find the peanut butter to your jelly. Be safe out there. I'll see you on the next one.